Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Wave the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka Mini Wargamer Kris, aka The Name Butcher, aka Hey You, stop making the room spin. Wave the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. We usually delve into a lot of painting talk as well as a lot of what's under the sun, meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything. So if you're a first-time viewer, you can ask your comments over in the chat. If you're attending live, of course, I am streaming this to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Both will be available on both sites, so you pick your flavor. And of course, if you are not attending live, you can, or you don't feel like chatting, you can also ask your questions to Kris@miniwargaming.com. It's in the description below. Of course, you can also join us on waythebrush.com. That is the central hub of all this silliness. It is got links to all the social medias, the Twitters, the Instagrams, Discord, Facebook. Oh, and the Discord. Yeah, the Discord has been a lot of fun. Usually have that up all the time. So, and of course, the monkeys are in there chatting away, talking about other various things as well as painting, but, life in general and some weird topics. It's best not to ask. They get pretty weird in there. So beware. That's the only warning I'm giving is if you go into the Discord, the monkeys are a little weird. It kind of turns into a gong show after a while, so don't worry. But otherwise, the monkeys do behave. Some of them anyway. So, waythebrush.com has links to Discord. Of course, also Wave the Brush also has links for t-shirts. If you want to help the cause, help Kris out, help keep the lights on kind of thing. Not really keep the lights on thing, but help with upgrades and, of course, prize support and just all the other little things. It's been fantastic. And, of course, Wave the Brush, also, if you pick up the shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will post it in the Monkey Shrine. I haven't updated the Monkey Shrine in a bit. I got to do that probably this weekend. I don't know. But either way, Monkey Shrine, just a chance for everybody, to see themselves, in the Monkey Shrine. And it's a lot of fun. So don't be afraid. Send me a pic of yourself. Whatever you got to do. Also, waythebrush.com also has links for the Patreon. Big thank you to my patrons, of course. They keep, the website going. They help keep these upgrades and things like that. And just, a lot of stuff I just wouldn't have done unless I, had the extra resources to, spend on a lot of this stuff. So big thank you to them. And, of course, if you're considering Patreon, I only charge for each Way the Brush episodes. I do post other videos. I don't ever charge for those. So if you're considering support, it's only going to be, I only charge 4 times a month. This month actually might be short. I don't know. Just because of the holidays and stuff like that. This month might be a short one. But usually, I only ever charge for Way the Brush. I don't ever charge for anything else. And of course, I also have other patron only type things. So, just my way of giving back to the patrons. More of my time, as it were, just for giggles. So, yeah. And, of course, a big thank you to Guy Meerhofer, a.k.a. Carl, a.k.a. Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out if you like yourself some beer and you like yourself some Blood Bowl. It's a lot of fun watching them play out the games just because of the bantering back and forth. I enjoy it. Just, they use in the UK, they use expressions that we don't use over here in North America. And they just kind of, what? What did he say? I don't understand. They speak English, but they don't speak English. They speak English, but it's not English. As North Americans know it anyway. So yeah, big thank you to him for taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingles that we all know and love before every email segment. And so, yeah. So, let's head over to the chat and see what the monkeys are talking about. Probably, I'm sure it's all about all about the lights rotating behind me. Ramby, hey ya monkey, hey ya Kris, hey Sir Peanut Butter, hello morning peeps. Jim White, dear Kris, do you like eggnog? I do. Or do you prefer old-fashioned French toast? This is a trick question. I'd like both. Old-fashioned, well, what's old-fashioned French toast? Is that any different than modern French toast? French toast is basically like how I prepare French toast. Is a little bit of milk or cream. Cream's nice, but usually just milk. Milk, a couple eggs, chuck it in, right? Whisk that together. Throw a little bit of cinnamon in. That's usually what I do. I throw a little bit of cinnamon in. Don't use any nutmeg or anything like that. A little bit of cinnamon. Whip that up really good. Not whip it, but, you know, mix it really good. And then I dunk the toast in, turn it around, dunk another piece, not toast, but bread. And then throw it on the skillet. Let that brown up. Flip it over, brown it up. Then maybe a little bit of confectioner's sugar with a little bit of syrup. And you're done, right? Real easy. That's how I do French toast. That's how I've always known French toast. So I don't know exactly what is old-fashioned French toast. I don't know what that is. Sir Peanut Butter. Oh boy, Disco Kris. That's Disco. Now, why would Kris have lights and have different things going on today? What would make this day different from any other day for Kris? I think some of you might know. Nit Fink, hello everyone. Hello. Little rocker dude over on Twitch. Party time, party time, party time. I was gonna get myself some beverages or a nice bottle of one of my favorite beverages and just, you know, imbibe that during the show. But then the show probably go on, then who knows, Kris would probably fully loaded and who knows what comes out of Kris's mouth when he's completely hammered. Jim White. Well, Chris's lights work. Enforcer 357. Merry Brushmas, everyone. Merry Brushmas. Eldari Lamborghini. Hello, monkeys. Little rocker dude. Keep the party lights on. Eldari, did someone say gong show? It does. Discord can turn into a gong show. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Hey, monkeys. Dr. Zantos. Hello, Monies and Lord. Monies? Hello, Monies. GeoFits. Happy birthday, Kris. Well, thank you, GeoFits. Matthew Perez. Party time now on YouTube and Lonely in Twitch. Enforcer. Happy birthday, Kris. Well, thank you. GeoFits, you're a little off kilter today. I am a little off kilter. It's okay. That's the whole point. The whole point is different, right? It just doesn't look the same. It's just, you know, like it's as soon as you turn it on, you're like, whoa, I was expecting something. And Kris has whipped out the lights and, you know, he's got different camera angles and he's different colors going on. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's true anymore. I don't know what's real. Yeah, that's about it. Dark Commission. Happy birthday, Kris. Hi, monkeys. Thank you, Dark Commission. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Happy birthday, Kris. Happy many returns to the Supreme Lord of Monkeys. Well, thank you. Xandrate. Morning, birthday boy. Thank you. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Now, we in the UK speak English. North Americans are the ones who don't speak English. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, the country that spawned the language, I mean, you know, I would assume that they just speak English, you know? But no. They don't. Not from what I've seen. Mind you, I've never been to the UK, so I can't say for certain. I can't say for 100% certainty that everyone in the UK doesn't speak English. But from what I've seen, nobody speaks English. If movies and television have taught me anything, which they haven't. Jim White. Dear Kris, do you use eggnog to make French toast? No. No, I don't. Interesting. I had not considered that before. Maybe like a little bit of eggnog in with the mix, with a little bit of cream or whatever, and just... That's an interesting idea. That's very interesting. I had not considered it. Eggnog. In the French toast. Yeah. Greenleaf terrain. French toast. It's all about that Russian toast. What's Russian toast? Greenleaf. Kris is 78 today. I feel like I'm 78. Mr. Smarty Pants. Dr. Xantos, we have lights because Kris is on acid and wants us to experience it too. I'm not even going to get into that topic. Geofits, Way of the Rush, episode 230, fully loaded Kris. I'm not loaded though. I've only had coffee this morning. I haven't had anything to drink. Well, I can't say morning now because it's past noon. The yard arm is past the midday, and if I wanted to, wouldn't be socially unacceptable, would it? Maybe. I don't know. Jim White. But Kris, you are drinking one of your favorite beverages? I saw it. I just saw it. Yeah, I am. This is probably the first one. This is the first one. This is just regular coffee. Just coffee with a little bit of honey in it. Just a little bit. Just to knock a bit of the bitterness out. Just a bit. Still very coffee flavored. But I do a little bit of I do and you do. I do a little bit of honey in there, and cinnamon. A little bit of cinnamon, honey. Can you smell it? No, you can't smell it. Here, can you smell it? No, you can't smell it. Matthew Perez, happy birthday to thy monkey lord. Well, thank you, Matthew. Jim White, happy birthday, number 21. Number 21. What? Sir Peanut Butter, so with point leaks for CA floating around, how'd everyone make out? Oh, the chapter proved. I don't know. I haven't looked at a thing. I was looking at the Vigilatus? No, there's no T in there. Vigilatus? Anyway, I was looking at that one, and I really like the Crimson Fist detachment rules. That's really cool. It makes them very, very shooty. I like the Samhan one. The Samhan one is actually will make me play Samhan. That'll actually make me play Samhan. Like proper Samhan, like with just bikes and Vipers. And I also like the Wraith one for them as well. Everything else I kind of skim by. I don't care. I mean, I'll look at them when I've got more time, but I was just quickly looking through the book the other day, and I was like, ooh, nice. It's quickly. And of course I saw the Crimson Fist. I was like, ooh, what did Crimson Fist get? And I was reading it, and I was like, wow, Crimson Fists are OP. No, not really. But it makes them very, very shooty, though. It's quite cool. So, yeah. And then plus two, I'm looking at that freaking $200, well, it's $200 Canadian. The box with the all Primaris Imperial Fists. I don't know. It's still gnawing at me. Buy me, Kris. Buy me. I don't know. Because if I buy it, then I'm obligated. I'm obligated to paint it and assemble them and paint them and do a decent job on them. I'd probably only do them maybe tabletop, like a good tabletop standard. I wouldn't go for like, any kind of award kind of paint job or anything on them, because I just want to play with them and, chuck my little Space Marines around and stuff like that. And so, that's most likely what I would do. But then I'm looking at my shelf of Wild Riders, my Eldar, and I've got like damn near 40 jet bikes to do. No, not to do, but because I've got my council all done, and I've got most of one squad, which is about 12 men, because under the old rules they were 12 men, and I've got them mostly ready. Like, I have transfers on them and stuff like that. And I think some of the riders got to get finished, and because the riders are separate from the bikes. But anyway, I have another unit of 12 that has to get done, and most of my characters are done. So I mean, I have lots of jet bikes, but I kind of, I think I should get my jet bikes done. I think that's what I should do. That way I can fill up a table with jet bikes and Vipers, and just go old school with my Eldar, because it's been a long time since I played my Eldar the way I used to play my Eldar, which was, very bike heavy, and, everybody, floating, nobody touching the ground, proper Samhan, proper Samhan, everybody flying, everything, lasers and doodads and explosions, and, I don't know where I was going with any of this. Excuse me. Ramsey, oh my God, happy 21st birthday, Kris. You don't look a day older than 20. Oh, if only. Man, I was actually wrong. The wife and kids and my mother had to correct me on what age I was, because I thought I was turning. Okay, well, I'll tell you, I'm turning 43 today. Or I've turned 43, whichever way you want to look at it. It's 43 today because I was born in 75, right? So 43. For some strange reason, because I probably don't do maths, I was thinking I was turning 44, and I was sure I was turning 44. I was like, it's 44. Here it comes. The wife and kids are like, no, dummy, it's 43. My mother was like, no, dummy, you're turning 43. And I'm, really? I'm sitting there trying to count out on my fingers, and I'm turning 43. Huh? I almost skipped a year. Yeah, so, yeah. Anyway. Ghost Diamond looks fully armed and operational, Kris. I am fully armed and well, not fully armed. Fully loaded. Fully loaded and operational. Eldari Lamborghini. What? I don't know why. Why? Steam McDemon just arrived. To Kris doing disco doo-doo. A doo-doo. Aaron Seach, WTF, is this wave the rave? Why not? Let's get some disco going. Just boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and, you know? Dark Commission, episode 230, the Carol Reed director's cut. Yeah, I don't... See? The UK expressions. I don't understand what that meant. I don't get the Carol Reed reference. What's the Carol Reed reference? You have to explain to me later, I guess. Geofits, I think we talked about this before, but the one thing I like about Primaris being more prominent for Space Marines is that it helps with the problem of decision paralysis for new players. Sure. The only thing is, though, with the Primaris, though, you get no close combat, right? You get the Intercessors, you got the Inceptors, which you think would be the Assault Marines because they got the jetpacks. But no, they got big effing machine guns. Or plasma guns or whatever. And then you got what are the other guys with the plasma guns? The Primaris that have the Marine gun. Hellblasters. You got those guys. You got the Aggressors, who look like they got giant power fists, but yet they have a crap ton of guns on them. What else? Oh, and then the Reveners. The Reveners got the pistols and the knife. Knife? That's the word? Knife? And, you know, I don't know. I don't see a lot of people taking the Revers or Revivers or whatever the hell they're called. Like, there's no proper sword and pistol kind of Marines. You know what I mean? Like Primaris Marines. There's no sword and pistol kind of Primaris Marines. Why is that? I mean, I see the pistol and knife dudes, and they seem more like scout kind of Space Marines. They don't, because their armor doesn't seem as big. They seem more like they are, spec op kind of unit, infiltration, and things like that. And but where are the close combat Primaris? I don't see them. I just don't see them. I mean, like, I don't know. Am I missing something? Am I missing something? Am I? I probably am, but yeah. Jim White, episode 230. If you buy it, you are obligated to paint it. Exactly, right? I mean, if I get the box, I mean, I'm gonna have to paint it. But I mean, like, it seems like it's a deal though. The box. I don't know if anybody's familiar with this box, but like they've got these big box sets, and the Imperial Fist Primaris box set. It looks like you basically get like 2 units. You save the cost on 2 units buying that box, which, it's kind of a big deal because, I mean, like, even just the Dreadnought and, say, the Aggressors, I mean, you're running, well, at least in Canadian, you're almost running damn near $120, somewhere around that. No. Yeah, you're running damn near $140 Canadian. And that's just 2 units, right? And so you throw in the Intercessors, and, that's pretty much $200 after taxes, right? So, and there's like at least, I think, 6 units in that box. So, it's a deal. It's a deal for anybody. Even, if you want to get some Primaris Marines in your army and you don't want to convert them as Imperial Fist, just buy the box anyway. Save sell the fist pads and stuff, and Fist pads? That doesn't sound right. Anyway, you know what I mean. Aaron Seach, howdy, Kris and Monkeys. Howdy, Aaron. Taro Silvas, hello everyone. Cool light show we got going on here. Yeah, it's kind of fun, right? I mean, like, you know, we're into the season, we're into the holidays, whether you celebrate them or not. I do, so I've got lights going. You know, Ghost Time and Deluxe, happy surprise then. Jim White, welcome to your 44th year of life, sir. No, it's 43. I just said it's 43. I thought it was going to be 44, but it's 43. I was a year ahead. I lost track of my years somehow. I don't know how I did it, but I did. Probably not paying attention. Geofits, there's a couple of slots that Primaris need to fill out. Basically, close combat Terminators, yep, and anti-tank like Devastator. A Devastator unit. I think Primaris Devastators should hold the heavy weapons slung. Like, you know, your old Chaos Marines and stuff like that, and some of the old Space Marines used to, how they carry the heavy weapon like on their side, like hip firing it. I think that's the way Primaris should carry them, because like regular Space Marines, right, they have it up on their shoulder, like it's a heavy weapon, right? So it's heavy, and it's on his shoulder, and he's like, oh, you know, yeah. All that sound effects, right? And with the Primaris, they should, because they're bigger and, you know, they're a bit beefier, they should carry it more like on their side. So like holding the las cannon, holding a missile launcher, you know what I mean? On their side, you know, just to kind of show that, you know, like they're kind of big beefy dudes. Because I think over up on top of their arm, I think it would just kind of make the model kind of really high and just unnecessary. Whereas I think it would look cooler if they're in a, you know, if their feet were done like almost like it was a Gravis armor, where they kind of have like extra padding and stuff like that, almost like Dark Reapers, right, where they have like more padding around their feet, you know what I mean, so they can stand still and, you know what I mean, and fire their heavy weapons. I think something like that would be really cool for Primaris heavy weapons. I think that'd be really cool. Sir Peanut Butter, yeah, whoever's idea it was to give the Inceptors that mortal wounds on charge ability should be fired. I don't mind that. That's okay. I mean, the mortal wounds thing, I mean, I'm fine with. But yeah, I mean, like, they're supposed to be like close combat dudes, and I mean, like, it's cool that, you know, like they come in and, you know, and they're spraying and they're shooting everybody. But I mean, when you're getting up close, I mean, that only works when you're coming in, right? Then you're amongst your enemy, and I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Smack them with your guns? I mean, that's a good way to ruin your guns, you know. No, you need swords. Like, they should have been like something like almost like obliterators or something, where basically they have a gun, it comes out their arm, you know what I mean, and they can spray that when they're when they're coming in, and then all of a sudden it kind of changes around and it becomes like a big chain blade or something like that, and then they can, you know, fisticuff everybody up close. That kind of thing, right? That would make sense logically, you know. But I mean, if we're talking logic in 40K, then, you know, we've completely gone off the rails, because there is no logic in the 40K universe. There's no way you can equate anything, just about anything, in the 40K universe that makes any kind of sense. It's because it's pretty much fantasy in a sci-fi setting. You know, like, for example, like looking at Imperial craft that fly. There's no way those things could fly in an atmosphere. In space, sure, any shape will fly in space. But in an atmosphere, you know, you have to obey aerodynamics. And I mean, you look at it like the only thing that makes sense to me, any bit of sense, is a Storm Raven for flying, because the Storm Raven's got two big thrusters coming off its back. It's got those wings that come down, and there's thrusters on the tips of those wings, and then in the hull you see there's thrusters as well, and also off to the sides and the front, I think, something like that. Anyway, it's got a whole bunch of thrusters, and it's a really small kind of craft. You know what I mean? It can only hold, like, it's got a small compartment. The rest of it's all engines and wings, right? And something like that feels like it might be able to fly, only because it's all thrust. It's just thrust, and it just goes everywhere. It doesn't have to worry about aerodynamics. Why? Because it's basically just a flying rocket ship with thruster engines all over it, and, you know. So, yeah, not very much in 40K makes sense. Tyler Bortel, pronounced Reavers. Revivers. Enforcer 357. I meant lieutenants can take the power sword, and squad leaders for intercessors can take chain swords, but that's it. Yeah, but I'm talking about, like, assault squads. When you bought assault squads, you got everybody had chainswords, everybody could take a power fist, or you know what I mean, and they were kitted out for close combat, right? And Primaris Marines doesn't seem to have that, and I don't know why that is. Basically, it's like Space Marines are playing to the meta of the game, and the creators made Space Marines, Primaris Marines, if you go heavy Primaris Marines, to fit what the current meta for the game is, which is very ranged-oriented armies. 40k 8th edition favors ranged armies over close combat armies, for the most part. In most stand-up kind of fights, that seems to be the trend. And Space Marines and Primaris Space Marines seem to be they seem to have the inside track on the meta kind of thing, right? Because that's the way Games Workshop wanted it, right? Dr. Santos, so what are people working on? I'm working on a Basilian Dictator for Kings of War Vanguard on a Scarlet Crusade theme from WoW. Wow, that was a mouthful to say. I'm working on a Basilian Dictator for Kings of War Vanguard on a Scarlet Crusade theme for WoW. Wow. And you know what? The only thing I understood in that was Kings of War. Oh, and WoW. Dark Commission, Carol Reed directed The Third Man using Dutch camera angles slanted to represent the alienation of the characters. Yes, well, that's why I sometimes use a Dutch angle. Ishyab, aloha Kris, aloha monkeys. Glad to be here for the show and checking out some awesome works of art and our great hobby. Be well all, happy holidays, and hope all are doing well. Well, thank you, Ishyab. Sammy C for everybody else out there, if you're on the Discord side of things. Ramvi, I'm working on my Thousand Suns kill team. What do you monkeys work on this evening? What do the monkeys work on this evening? This evening, I'm going out. So, because it's my birthday, so I'm going out. I'm going to enjoy the day. In fact, I was even thinking today's show might even be a short one, because I'll probably just hammer through some emails, because I only have a couple emails. And then I was thinking maybe because I have a couple things on my honey-do list, so I was thinking maybe I should get to them today. Even though it's my birthday, I still have to do my honey-do stuff. It's all I get. All I get is a happy birthday. That's about it. That's all I get. No. Jabba's Left Nut. There's your title. Spraying as you're coming in close. Spraying as you're coming in close. Yeah. That has two meanings. that has the what is it, the double entendre? Yeah. Enforcer 357. Supposedly Calgor's box set is making Primaris Marines with swords and shields. Well, the Calgor box set, he has Honor Guard with him, but they don't look like Primaris. They look like the old Honor Guard. Don't quote me on that, though. William Eversberg. Hello, Kris. Greetings from the past. I'm watching from the beginning. Whoa. Blowing my mind, man. You're blowing my mind. Whoa. Old man Logan, there he is. Hey, Kris Monkeys. When does the rave start? It started at 12. You missed it. We're half hour in already, and you missed it. Go Starman Deluxe. 40k Theories did a series. Theories? Yeah, did a series about testing all the 40k flyers in terms of flight capabilities. Don't think any of the Imperial vehicles could. The Storm Raven is the only one I can kind of imagine being able to fly, realistically. In space, sure, right? Space, anything goes. But in atmospheres, you want wings that, have that follow the rules of aerodynamics. But I mean, they wouldn't make as cool looking, models, right? And I mean, like even the Eldar stuff. But I mean, like, you can, because it's fantasy. As soon as you imply fantasy into the thing, then of course your argument goes right out the window, right? But like even Eldar vehicles, like the shape of the Eldar vehicles, they look like they can fly. Well, the Hemlock and Crimson Hunter, they look like they can fly because the wings kind of have an aerodynamic shape to them, and even like the tapering and stuff, they almost have like a bulb at the front with a taper at the back. But like the Forge World ones, Not really. The wings are actually pretty thick for an Eldar vehicle, and I mean they have that, looks like, you know, the anti-grav kind of ribbing. But I mean, if you say, well, it's got the anti-grav ribbing underneath, it could totally fly. But I mean, we're talking fantasy because anti-gravity, as far as we understand it, isn't possible. So, you know, it's not that it isn't possible, it's just out of our grasp, but it's not quite in our realm of reality yet. That makes sense. Zendrate Primaris don't have close combat because they were based off reboot, not in the face Gilliman. Not says, you know, don't ugly me up, man. Don't ugly me up. Don't do me ugly. Oh, there, Lamborghini. I'm working on Hemlock. I know. Because didn't you send us your picture of your canopy? Canopy? Jim White, I think the Orc Blitzer Bomber makes sense. It's modeled after a MiG-15. Yeah, the Orc vehicle's kind of. But the thing is, though, is with the Orc vehicles, the problem I have is that it has a big intake in the front, and the pilot's there, and then it's big exhaust out the back, and, you know, thrust engines out the back. And that kind of doesn't really make sense because that's not how it works. It's kind of like, you know, like the Tim Burton Batmans, or the Batmobile. He's got the big turbine in the front, and it runs down the length of his car, and then he's got the fire. But guess where he's sitting? He's sitting exactly where, you know, there should be air-fuel exchange and, you know, the combustion of you know, the turbines, right? So it doesn't make a lot of sense. And same with the Orc Flyers. It doesn't make a lot of sense that they're sitting right where basically, you know, there would be turbines mixing air and fuel and, you know, creating thrust, right? So, you know, science. Necron Flyers, well, Necron Flyers don't make any sense, and, you know, it's all fantasy anyway, right? Really, I mean, you know, the only thing you can look at is the human vehicles. Even like a Valkyrie. Valkyrie might be able to fly, just because it's got gigantic engines for how big it is. You know what I mean? Like, those engines are huge on a Valkyrie. They're bigger than anything on a Space Marine. And technically, shouldn't a Space Marine flyer have more thrust? Should have gigantic engines? Because technically, isn't there more weight inside a drop pod or Thunderhawk or whatever? Because, I mean, Space Marines, I imagine, are pretty heavy. Compared to an Imperial Guard who's wearing his flak jacket, right? How much does a lasgun actually weigh compared to a bolt gun, which uses actual solid munitions versus a battery pack, right? So, yeah. You can make all these silly arguments. But as soon as you have to bust out the fantasy argument, then you're done. Your argument's done. It no longer makes sense. Where am I? Ishiab. Oh, sorry, Kris. Didn't know. Happy birthday wishes. Many, many happy more to come as well. Well, thank you. Thank you, Sammy. Dark Commission I'm working on. Dragon Warrior by, what is it? El Torres Studios? Kind of Crouching Tiger type character. Yeah. And hopefully Dark Commission sends us some pics of that when he is nearing completion or maybe close to complete. Bikasu watching Kris almost take a sip of his mug for a minute now. Almost taking a mug? Why? What's wrong? That's me almost taking a sip. It's like, no. Anyway, old man Logan. Oh, happy birthday, dude. What do you want for your birthday? My 2 front teeth. Ghost Starman Deluxe. No honor guard with the Calgars are the new Calgars are primers. The primers, yeah? Okay. They look like the old sculpts to me. But maybe they just revamped the sculpts and made them primers. I don't know. I didn't take a quick look. I just kind of quickly looked at it. And I was... Because, I mean, like, honestly, I don't care about Marnius Calgar. I mean, big whoop. Ultra Smurf. Who cares about Marnius Ultra Smurf? Jim White, I'm painting a picture of an opened treasure chest with potato chips inside. You're painting a picture of an open treasure chest with potato chips inside. Well, you got to send me a link to that, dude. I want to see that. I like seeing art. You guys that are artists out there, I mean, you know, that do, like, you know, proper art, you know, send me pics of your work, because I'll totally look at that. Ramvi, Talon is small with 2 big thrusters. It might fly in real life. It might. But like I said, like, the only way these Imperial vehicles are flying is because of sheer thrust. So it's not like, you know, they're aerodynamic and they're graceful. It's just boom, and they just take off, and they're ooh, and then slowly, you know, I mean, coming to a stop has to be a complete bitch. That's why I imagine that a lot of them have, you know, vertical takeoff abilities, right? Because they just slowly slump down and then have to slowly come down, right? They're not, you know, like a plane where they can just kind of glide in and come to a stop. They are, because I mean, when you're relying purely on thrust and you have no aerodynamic ability, you have to completely, entirely, 100% rely on, you know, thrust. And so coming to a stop, it's reverse thrust. Landing, it's, you know, thrust downwards and slowly decreasing the strength, you know. I mean, that's as far as I understand it. I'm not going to sit here with a whiteboard and, you know, draw out, you know, the formulas for how an Imperial vehicle flies. Zandrate, I think the Drukari flyers are pretty close to flight, but the shape of the wings would prevent supersonic flight. I guess, I mean, like, the shape, like, say, for example, like the Crimson Hunter and Hemlock and the fighter for the Dark Eldar. I suppose, because, I mean, like, you know, the wings, they taper kind of forward, right? And so once you enter supersonic flight, I mean, that might create a problem. I know, like, they described that when the fighter jets are flying and they're approaching Mach, and then when they do reach past Mach, that the controls reverse on them, which becomes very, you know, kind of weird, that they have to actually reverse what they're doing, because, you know, like when they're, before they hit supersonic, you know, pulling back on the stick would pull the nose up, whereas once he's into supersonic, if he pulls back on the stick, it would pull his nose down, something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but yeah, I can't remember what the effect's called, but yeah, once they reach supersonic flight, that, you know, the controls reverse or something like that. Anyway, as far as I understood it. Tyler Bortel, Tau flyers make a fair amount of sense, especially the newer plastic ones. Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess the one fighter craft for the Tau, it looks like it could fly, I suppose. You know, maybe. But again, I mean, like, when we're talking about any of the alien craft, Eldar, Tau, Necron, you know, whatever, right? They immediately already are throwing in some fantasy sci-fi type element into the argument, and, you know, yeah, it's really only the Imperial ones, because they're the only ones that are kind of what we understand of technology and, you know, how it would work, right? Because, I mean, Tau, you could imagine that there's anti-gravity technology underneath it, just like Eldar. Eldar have anti-gravity technology, and, you know, they can hover and fly, and, you know what I mean, that keeps it lightweight in the air, and, you know, I mean, like, all these silly reasons, right? So anyway. Avid Mater at Kris, what do you think about Chimera models and Monuments new Pro Acryl artist quality paints for minis? Do you think we'll see some of the big paint manufacturers going this route for the artist quality paints? Now, I mean, I've talked about the Monuments new paints, and they also have new brushes as well, or something like that, because apparently these are the guys, right, that if I'm remembering this correctly, these are the guys that are partnered, or Creature Caster have partnered with. But anyway, the paints look fine. I mean, I haven't seen the paints, I haven't played with the paints, I have no idea what these paints are about. You know, there's only about, what, 30 colors, I think? 30 colors, which I assume would be all the primaries, plus the black and white, plus some secondaries and tertiaries, and as well as some metallics, I would imagine. They come in bottles, looks like similar to Golden Paint Line, which kind of have like those screw top kind of kitchen, yeah, kind of, you know, it's like a screw top lid, not like this Turbo Dork, but they look about the same size as these Turbo Dorks. I don't know. I don't know what size paint bottle they're selling, but I mean, like, these ones are only 0.6 fluid ounces, 20 milliliters, versus, I don't have any of my golden paints around. I have them all in my office. But anyway, what do I think of them? I haven't tried them, so I honestly can't voice an opinion on them. I have not tried them, so, am I dying to try them? No, not really. Do I think they're great paints? Can't say. Haven't tried them. And Chimera models, I'm not sure about Chimera models. You have to point me to an example of them. I mean, there's so many model companies out there. I have no idea. And there's so many up and coming, sculptors. And there's some really great sculptors out there that are just doing their work independently, and then they do fantastic work. There's a couple guys. There's one guy. He's in Greece. I follow, and he made these really beautiful sculpts, high texture sculpts. And then there's another fella that I actually have a few of his sculpts. He goes by Savage Forged. Yeah, Savage Forged. And he's in Germany. He's another really awesome sculptor. I follow his work as well. Like I said, and these guys are just independents. They're just doing this stuff on their own, and you know what I mean? And yeah, so, I kind of find it more interesting to follow more independent artists than up and coming companies, just because, I don't know, an independent is just more free to create something that just isn't seen that often. Whereas, you get into a company, and sometimes, you have a committee of people, and they'll have certain guidelines of what they want, and they'll have production schedules and stuff like that. Whereas an artist who's just kind of just flying by the seat of his pants is just more interesting. He'll just create off pieces, random. You kind of wish he would do more, but hey, what he's creating is different. Or she, I should say, not he, just he. But yeah. Not to say I'm against, upcoming companies and things like that. I just, I tend to watch more of the independents. It's just the way she goes. Dark Commission, they say an ugly car never won a race. So episode 230, an ugly weapon never won a war. I like it. You're a clever man. Oh man, I'm seeing the preview thumb of what my screen is showing me, and yeah, I'm surprised you guys haven't gotten like vertigo or anything yet. I'm just kind of surprised that nobody's sitting there going, "Oh, I think I'm getting the bends." So, Dark Commission, you win the daily prize. My admiration. Dr. Santos, this just in. Kris doesn't think miniature painting is art. Painting of potato chips is better. Shocking testimony. No. Like I said a few times, that I go back and forth of whether miniature painting is art. Because sometimes I argue it is. When I argue with myself, of course. Yeah, I argue with myself. That, miniature painting is art. And sometimes it's not so much art. And it is. And you know what I mean? And I kind of go through... Really, I think what I should do is probably do a pros and cons kind of thing. Break it down. You know what I mean? On both sides, right? How is miniature painting art? How is miniature painting not art? But I imagine the not art argument could probably apply to a lot of things. So, again, but I think I probably should write it down. In fact, I should probably write a paper is what I should do. That sounds too much like work. Congo, what are we talking about? Oh man, what are we talking about? What aren't we talking about? It really should be the question. Big Sue, Valkyrie is is the only one I can think of in the Imperium that makes the most sense. The most sense? It makes more sense. But again, does the Valkyrie have downward pointing thrusters? Because if it's got, I thought it does. I thought the ends of the wings it does. No, those sometimes are guns. Or are they thrusters there? Damn, I can't remember. Anyway. Aaron Seach. The Spacewell Flyer is the ugliest damn model ever made. No freaking way that thing could fly. Yeah, exactly. Like the long wolf head looking thing. Yeah, that now in space, no problem, right? It looks like a boarding torpedo. But once it gets onto a surface, there's no way you could bring that in for a landing. I mean, you're basically dropping that off from the spaceship and it comes flying in and just smacks into the ground like a lawn dart, and disgorges its space marines. Avid. Or Avid. Anyway. Posted a link. I'll have a quick look while we're while we're talking here. Avid Madar single pigment with super high pigment load, 30 to 50%. Well, no paint company is going to say that their pigment is not high, right? No paint line is going to come out there and say, oh yeah, we got low pigment paint. You know, nobody's going to say that. And throwing a percentile out there, well, I mean, how are you throwing that percentile out there? Did you measure how much pigment was in every other company's paint? Or are they saying that their paint is 30 to 50% denser than other companies? I mean, like, what is that information based off of? You know what I mean? So, super high pigment. Super high pigment. What's super high pigment? There's high pigment. High pigment would be a very high pigment count, right? Like, is there a standard of measurement for pigment in paint? That's the question, really. Is there a standard? Parts per million, right? Parts per million, how much pigment is in paint, right? Anybody can find that information for me? You know, I would be happy. But don't throw jargon at me, you know what I mean? Like, don't give me that. You know what I mean? Like, if you got a paint and you say it covers well and you know, demonstrate how it covers on top of black. Like, really the test would be for a super high pigment would be a very bright yellow, like a very, very bright yellow on top of pure black, on a matte black, even a gloss black. That would be the test of a high pigment, right? And super dense black paint, if it reflects like next to no light from it, that would be super dense black. That would be black. If no light bounces back, mind you, that's almost not, I shouldn't say impossible, because it is possible, but yeah. Then we're talking. Then you're giving me some information, right? Because then we can say, well, okay, if that company's saying that is that, then we can go to another company and produce side-by-side results. And if their results are superior, then yeah, great. That is, it's a superior paint, right? For our painting needs, apparently. Congo GW paint pots are about 12 milliliters. 12 milliliters? I thought they were 15. Maybe they're 12. Sorry, I got to do the old man thing where I stare over my lenses. I think I need bifocals pretty soon. Yeah, 12 milliliters. 0.4 fluid ounces. So there we go. Jim White, episode 230. Art is like flying an Imperial model by the seat of your pants. Butters of Doom. Hey monkeys, how's tricks? Wow, didn't expect the acid to be hitting this soon. Yeah. I was thinking it would have been funny if anybody who's ever watched Thor Ragnarok, remember when he's flying the craft and he hits the button and it's Jeff Goldblum and says, "It's my birthday, it's my birthday." I was thinking about having that play, and that would have been funny. Anyway. Dark Mission got my first order conversion kit today. Apparently, I can run 5 TIE starfighters. Now I'll come in second, at least. Second instead of last. For X-Wing? Is that what we're talking about? George Hins, late. And what is with the disco lights? What isn't with the disco lights? You know, it's just different. It's a different kind of thing. It's holiday. We're getting close to the holidays, and so we're getting festive. You know, we're filling up on Christmas cheer. No, I'm not. I'm just drinking coffee. But you feel free. Well, some of you guys are at work, so yeah, don't do that either, because you end up getting fired, and then it'll be a shitty Christmas. And yeah, no, don't do that. Enforcer. But Kris, what if we want a model of a man painting a chest of potato chips? Is that art? Sure, why not? Is it? I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Dark Commission. I too waver between artist or colorist with minis, but when you do freehanding, then that is art. The whole process, right? I mean, it's questionable. I mean, like I said, like I've gone back and forth in my brain whether miniature painting is art or is it just merely a craft, a hobby, right? Because if it's just a craft or a hobby, then, you know, who cares if a particular paint is high pigmented or if a particular brush is sable or synthetic or, right? But if it is an art and we're trying to perfect art and we're trying to master art, then those arguments, you know, are pointless, right? Because, you know, we're not striving for a higher goal, you know. So, and sometimes, you know, with miniature painting, it does feel that way, that we're not striving for that. Because I see the same shitty paint jobs over and over again. I see the same things, so many people imitating, you know what I mean? Like I see, there's a lot of, you know, very familiar artists out there. And I see that they do painting classes and stuff like that. And oftentimes it just seems like all they're doing is teaching people how to paint like them. Right? So if you learn to paint like somebody and you take on their style, then what are you doing? And what does that say of the artist's style? Right? Are they even an artist at that point, right? Because if what we're doing isn't art, then calling any miniature painting, calling myself an artist as if I was solely a miniature painter, calling myself an artist would be dumb, right? I just often see so many paint jobs out there that look like other people's paint jobs, and you know, it all starts to feel very generic, and you know, I don't know. Something to ponder anyway. Xandrate. I think you can call the man with the chest of potato chips whatever you want, but I think art is a fine name. Dr. Zentos, that reminds me, I was able to buy about €350 worth of X-Wing Mini for about 90 on Facebook. Going through like the Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, that's kind of like, you know, like the next eBay kind of thing, the Facebook Marketplace. Because I've been using that actually lately too. Pretty soon though, Facebook, soon as Facebook starts charging you for the sale, like if there's a complete sale there, yeah, that's when you know things are going to get worse. And then, you know, I'm kind of surprised they don't. I'm like, I don't know why you would offer something like that for free if you weren't collecting. But then again, you know, they often say like Facebook, we are not customers of Facebook. We are the product on Facebook. Companies, advertisers, they're the customer, and they're selling our information. So, kind of a bit of a perspective, I suppose. It's that you're not the customer. So anytime Facebook does anything weird, and you know it's down or doesn't work or this doesn't break, or you know what I mean, and you get all huffy about it, just remember you're not the customer. You're not. Unless you're paying Facebook lots and lots of money for people's information to advertise, to sell your crap. Unless you're doing that, you're not the customer. Companies are the customer of Facebook. You're the product. Jim White, definition of an artist: a person who produces paintings or drawings as a profession or hobby from the internet. An artist, no, the definition of artist is much broader than that. Because it's not just paintings or drawings, because then a sculptor isn't an artist, a musician isn't an artist, a writer isn't an artist. So artist, no, is much broader than that. And professionally or as a hobby, that again, that doesn't matter either, really. Although I think most artists would prefer to sell their pieces and you know, just to pay the bills kind of thing, because otherwise, you know, starving artist. And I mean, like, the thing is, you know, a lot of people have this mentality, especially artists, that unless you're doing a certain thing, or unless you're a certain way, or you're not making money, or you know what I mean, and you're just kind of, you know, whatever. Some people have very, very narrow definitions of an artist, and that's very upsetting, because that shows a lack of imagination. And an artist has got imagination in spades, right? A real artist is a problem solver. That's what an artist is a problem solver. An artist can create. That's an artist. An artist can create. Sometimes creating something out of nothing. The thing never existed before, and all of a sudden, artist creates it. Create something out of nothing. You know. Or taking little scraps of things and make something new. You know, that's an artist. It's problem solving. Dr. Xantos. Artists must suffer for their art. That's why it's called painting. Yeah, I could see that. I really have to get painting again. I've got a lot of stuff that maybe over the holidays, maybe I'll have to sit down with my canvases and finish a couple pieces, because I got a couple pieces that are almost done, and I just gotta get to them, and I've got to get them finished. Butters of Doom, episode 230. Kris telling the internet how it is since 1994. Since 1994? I've been telling, well, I was born in 75. And yeah. So I don't know when I started telling it how it is. I've always been an ass, so, you know, and saying unpopular things for a very long time. You know the expression, you know, don't talk any smack unless you can back it up. Yeah. Early on, I used to talk a lot of smack, and then I could back it up. So, and since then, yeah. But that's probably just compounded the fact that I'm an ass. Goes to Starman Deluxe. If an artist is a problem solver, is a mathematician an artist? Well, problem solving is an aspect of the artist. But I mean, a problem solver, I mean, the same example could go say to an engineer. To an engineer, right? How do we span that gap with a bridge, and what kind of angles do we need? And you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden he works it out. And you know what I mean? Does that mean the engineer is an artist? I think so. I think an art is in many aspects of our lives. Cooking, right? I mean, are there really deep problems in cooking? No, but knowing how to bring flavors together to create something different, something new, something, you know, yeah, that's solving a problem, right? Is it a real problem? No, but I mean, it's finding a solution, right? It's finding solutions to things, you know. Problem being just in the generic sense that, you know, we have a certain thing, it needs a resolution, right? Not the problem like, oh my God, my toilet's backed up and my house is flooding with water, and you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. It's not that kind of thing. It could be, but it's not entirely that thing. Butters of Doom. It was when the World Wide Web was invented. I thought it was earlier than that, because the internet was created like since the 80s? 70s? When computers first started talking to each other, like when they started networking computers, when you had to start using www. Yeah, it was around the 90s. But yeah, internet? No. I think Al Gore has something to say about that. Jim White. Kris, painting on canvas is a great gift to yourself. You know what? You're absolutely right, Jim. I should just sit down and just quit my belly aching and just sit down and just get a brush in my hand, and yeah. Tyler Bortel, a mathematician is absolutely an artist. Yeah, I think so. I could agree with that. Same with an engineer. You know, anything where creativity is necessary, and math, there's a huge amount of creativity. And I can agree with that sentiment that a mathematician is an artist, because my father was a programmer and huge math. Like we're talking, like he was genius level mathematician. Computer programming as well, right? And that's math is all day long. And he also was a problem solver, and and he also could tap into other parts. He was a published poet. He had poetry published. So, just the idea that a mathematician, is just some kid, jotting down equations and stuff like that, doesn't mean that, it has no merit as something creative, because math, you have problems, and, even if you made the problems and still solve them. Sure. Why not? Right. Because an artist who's painting, also has to solve those problems as well. He creates a form, and then you come in with another color, and all of a sudden that doesn't work. And so then you correct, and you have to find the right balance, and painting, like math, can be a balancing act, finding the balance of the equation, and painting is the same way. So, yeah. So and again, going back to miniature painting, finding the right balance on a model, right? Finding the right balance of color, light and dark, contrast and hue, and, and finding these balances on a miniature. And that's where I would argue that miniature painting is an art, because we're still finding those balances and, making it work, and doing something different from somebody else, and creating a different form, even saying something else. You know what I mean? Like, because we can even talk through our colors and through our use of, composition, and, so there are many aspects. But then again, sometimes I'm back and forth, and it's like, it's just miniatures. George hints all artists are asses. Yeah, pretty much. Jabba's left nut. My father-in-law called me an artist, but I don't class what I do as art. I copy box art. I have no idea what colors. If you gave me a model and a brush, I wouldn't know where to start. But that, again, art takes on many forms. Art truly is what separates us from the beasts, right? Art really is what separates us. Enforcer, Kris, you need to do a Bob Ross style of your painting on canvas while streaming it. I had considered it, but then I don't know. Because basically when I start streaming something, I don't feel like it's worthwhile unless I'm kind of like interacting with you guys and making it a teaching moment, rather than me just kind of I'm just gonna play with color, Either way, I'm sure everybody would enjoy it, but for me, it just feels like, and what I'm doing, I feel like I would need to explain why I'm taking this choice, and and why we're moving the color here, and this is why I'm, and yeah, I feel like I need to explain it and make it a teaching moment, and I think that's probably just my own hang up, I think. Let's get moving here on some of these questions here. Where am I here? Eldari Lamborghini, infantry officer and law student lawyer. Okay. Are you telling everybody what you are? Is that what you are, Eldari? Is that what you are? Butters of Doom, I think art is like pornography. You know it when you see it, and it moves you. In part, yes. And some would argue some forms of pornography are art. That's the argument there, too. It sounds crazy, but yeah, Because, you can get into, like art for centuries, we've had like nude forms, right? And even nude forms, in sexual acts and stuff like that. And adorning a vase, right? And it's art. Even though, they're in all sorts of positions, and it's, it's what some would consider pornographic, but it's art, G squared, hi buddy, good timing since I teach math. Wow, awesome. I didn't know that. G squared, I didn't know that you were a teacher or you taught math. Is math your jam, or is it just, you're a teacher who just teaches math? Like, you're just one of those guys who's good at math, and they said, hey, you should teach math. And so you said, hey, you know what? I'll teach math. And you taught math. So either one. Either one is cool. Teachers, another underrated and underappreciated profession. No, it's not really a job. It is a profession, right? It's a career. Somebody can teach all their life, you know. Anyway, Old Man Logan, there is no single result for any type of art. No, there's not. But the thing is, though, is with, like, you know, miniature painting, when we paint a space marine, is there only so many places we go, or can go, or would go, right? Is there only so many things? Is there a finite amount of things, solutions to painting a space marine? I guess is really what I'm kind of getting at here. Or any miniature for that matter. Space Marine is just the example, but I mean, you know. Because if it's infinite, if it's truly infinite, and there's many, many kind of solutions for it, then truly it's art, right? But if there's finite amount of ways of doing it, then maybe it's not. The job is left nut. Cool, Kris. Just said I can watch art by myself in the dark. G squared kind of fell into it. Okay, cool. I mean, either way, I mean, like, you know, kids need to learn math. It's important. Math's important. Math's very important. I wish in school, I don't really wish, but kind of do. But I wish I took math more seriously when I was younger. Because, you know, like I always had, and I mean, also too, it also is the teachers as well. And the teachers have to make it interesting, and you know what I mean. And when the teacher's not into it, and you know, then it's no fun. But I always had real affinity for physics and chemistry. Chemistry was one of my favorite sciences. You know, and a little bit of physics, but chemistry was a big one for me. Knitfink at Kris, what do you think about doing ATC size canvases to practice freehand? ATC, what is ATC? I'm not familiar with ATC. I'm not familiar with ATC. Why do I hear a cat in my house? I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. I hear a cat meowing. I think my daughter's watching something. Anyway, ATC, Knitfink, I'm not sure what ATC means. AT size, artist sized canvases to practice freehand. There is practicing your freehanding, especially on a miniature or whatever. It's a similar motor skill, but it is kind of different. Drawing is probably the better one for practicing your freehanding, rather than taking, say, large canvases, just because the motor skill tends to be for freehanding something. Well, freehanding, like just painting. It's not freehanding. It's just painting. Artist trading card, like baseball card size. Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with those, but I think just getting you know, an artist drawing book, or even like, you know, just like a journal book, or you know what I mean, whatever, something along that size, and practicing with like a sharp pencil, I think that would improve somebody who wants to better their freehanding ability as a miniature painter. I think that would probably be the better way to go, because doing like large canvases, painting is from the shoulder. When you're doing canvas, and when you're doing large drawings, like when I used to do nude model studies, it was always from the shoulder. Drawing's always from the shoulder. Whereas when you're drawing with pencil, it's in the wrist. And miniature painting, it's in the wrist, right? So drawings, like pencil drawing, is in the wrist. Miniature painting is in the wrist. So if you want to practice your freehanding as a miniature painter, and you want to get better at freehanding as a miniature painter, drawing, pencil drawing, or anything, because basically we always hold, not always, but we usually hold our brushes like a pencil, right? At least this is the way I hold a pencil or pen. right? I mean, some people, you know, hold this way, hold that way, you know what I mean? Like, there are many variations on this, but typically it's in the first two fingers and the thumb as a stabilizer, and, you know, and of course, you know, it's in the wrist. You know, usually there's not a lot of this. Well, sometimes, because when you're dry brushing, it's this, right? When you're drawing lines, typically it's a little bit of this, right? It can be in the shoulder, I suppose, but it's usually, you're usually stabilizing yourself, like at your, and you're, you know, you got your hands braced and you're kind of like this, right? And so, yeah, it's really, I guess, more in your knuckles. Sometimes in your wrist, right? Just gotta move your hand around. But yeah, you know what I mean. So, yeah. Kubla Khan. Hi, monkeys. How late am I? You're an hour and 12 minutes late. That's okay. DC Cool. An emoji of some sort. Hi. 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 It's coming in. Hi. Old Man Logan. Well, there is the process and there is the outcome. I could solve a math problem several different ways, but the answer is the same. Sure. And like I say with painting, you know, there's many different ways to get to the same result, right? Which is very true in painting, right? I mean, we can blend, we can, you know, feather, we can glaze, we can layer, we can dry brush, you know what I mean? And we can bring the color transitions, and we can go many different routes of adding color together and then come to this a similar point, right? Painting is kind of the same thing. So it does have those very similar aspects as well. Old Man Logan, whereas I could paint something using the same techniques, but completely different outcome. Yes and no. I mean, you can use multiple techniques and come to the same result. You know, if your dry brushing is really light, you know, you can create light transitions. I mean, you know, look at, crap. I can't remember his name now. We've been looking at his models all the time, and he's an excellent dry brusher. And I mean, at a distance, that looks almost airbrushed, you know, so. Kubla Khan, holy crap, Chris, I think I'm about to have a fit. Did someone slip me some LSD without me knowing, or did you crash high school disco? High school disco. Yeah, I'm in a high school gym right now, and there's a bunch of kids running around, and yeah, and the cops are on their way. No, I'm just doing a little something different, you know, because it is the holidays, and yeah, it's just a little different, man. Just shaking things up, keeping it interesting. Jim White, there is a finite number of ways to paint a Space Marine, limited by the size of molecules of pigments and the tip of the paintbrush. Right, but there's so many variables. So, okay, because basically what I'm saying is that if there is a finite of number of outcomes for painting a Space Marine, then, you know, then it's not really an art, is it? Because it's fixed. There is a fixed number. Versus if it had an infinite amount of possibilities, then the art would be to create a new way of doing it, right? So, I don't know. Are we drawing closer to an answer? Are we? Kubla Khan, I am immortal. I live within the spirit of the great Tengri. Tengri? I don't know how to pronounce that word, so I'm just going to say Tengri. I know I'm probably saying it wrong, but Name Butcher. Hey, my show. George Hins. Practices doing things using your hand and wrist. I do. Tyler Bortel. I don't think you understand the sort of result the actual math comes to. You're not looking for a number. You're looking for a relation. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes you're looking for a solution. Sometimes, yes, you're looking for a relation. I mean, like, you know, math is not my strong suit. So, I mean, like, you know, I'm not sitting here working out freaking a whole bunch of algebra equations or, you know, what have you. I mean, I'm usually just playing with my colors. Ebb and flow. Kris, the only chemistry I know is actual poetry application. Acids plus bases blows up in your faces. Bases and acids, everything's placid. Tyler Mortel. For example, there are dozens of ways to prove the Pythagorean theorem, and all of them are important and creative in some way or another. Yeah. DC Cool. I heard the thing about the freehanding painting. That sounds interesting. Yeah. I mean, if you want to become better at freehanding and you don't have, a lot of drawing ability, I mean, it is practice, but I think, practicing with a pencil and, there are plenty of exercises out there for, drawing and creating line and, you know what I mean? And duplicating an image you see and, and I think all these aspects would help your painting and also help if you wanted to create freehanding. One of the easier ones, if you kind of just want to jump right into it, I mean, is duplicating a chapter symbol on a Space Marine shoulder pad kind of thing, right? Recreating an icon in a single color, right? Of course, a lot of times it does require you to know how to properly thin your colors, or start working with actual inks and start drawing on the miniature with an actual ink. That's also a fun one as well. So, there are many options out there. Ghost Star Deluxe. There are a finite number of ways to paint a Space Marine, but there are also an infinite ways to paint a canvas. However, both are incredibly large numbers. Sure. But I mean, like, when was the last time you saw a Space Marine painted in an incredibly unique way? Right? Different way. It's been a while for me. And I'm usually looking for different stuff and, to stay inspired. That's what inspires me, is when I see something different, when I see something new, when I see something, that goes against the norm. And sometimes it is a bit of a revival of something that was done previously 20 years ago. And sometimes something I've never seen, new way of painting, a new technique, a new use of color, a new way of doing something. And so, I'm always on the lookout for that. I'm always on the lookout for innovation. Like when I see Space Marines painted with non-metallic metal and everybody's doing it the same way, just different colors, doesn't impress me. I don't care. Okay, great. You followed somebody else's ability to create that look, and now you've duplicated it. Good for you. You get a shiny star. They were looking for something else, and that was a leaping off point, then sure, great. Love to see what else you come up with, but otherwise, I'm not terribly impressed by it. I prefer people to find their own path for what they're doing. Don't duplicate what you see somebody else doing. Expand upon it. Create something new. Be innovative. Just don't do what everybody else is doing. That's boring. Now, mind you, if you're just painting your models just to get them painted and you're not taking it that seriously, that's fine as well. That's fine as well. And if you want to do OSL on eyeballs of your Space Marines, and, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're playing with them, gaming, you just want them to look cool, absolutely nothing wrong with that. And a lot of this stuff I've been going on about, really doesn't apply, to what you're doing. Don't let it become disheartening, for your efforts. Continue to develop your style, to develop your painting, and, practice and get better. But, yeah. But those that, are, I see out there that are, oh, look at me, look at my painting. Look what I'm doing. And I'm like, yeah, okay, great. You did what somebody else did. Fantastic. Good for you. You learned something. But don't act like, you reinvented the wheel or something like that, copying somebody else's style, somebody else's method for doing something, Anyway. Zendrake, you're starting to sound like Shania Twain. That doesn't impress you much. Okay. I don't know. Does that mean I'm just becoming jaded? Maybe, I don't know. Well, like I said, I'm constantly scanning the horizon, and I'm looking, and you know, because I'm always asking myself this question: is miniature painting art, or is it not? Is it, you know? Ghost Star Deluxe. Have you seen a marine painted with a grillian earth texture and then painted as if it were made of cracked lava? No, I've not. At least I don't think I have. Is there an example of it on the internet? Or is that something you just thought of and should try? Give it a shot. See what it does. See what happens. How can you, if it has already been done, can you do it differently? Can you do it better? You know what? Let's do Voice of the Emperor. Hey, monkeys. Long time no see. Whoa, what's with the disco? We're getting close to the holiday season. We're getting festive. And I mean, why not, right? Whoa, comments are flying by here. Raziel, I like to emulate a close proximity to a lot of GW paint jobs. They look really nice. I tried to add some of my own touches too. I like some conservative OSL and zenithal highlights. Sure. Nothing, like I said, nothing wrong with it. Nothing, if you just want to get your models painted and, sure. It's when you start, it's really, I guess, really when you were looking to like, really elevate the painting, I guess. Taking your painting to the next level, bringing it up, I guess is really what I'm saying here. That's when these kind of thoughts start to concern you, right? Zendrate. So is art still art when the artist starts selling prints or when it's taught in school? No, it's when you start creating. Selling prints, I mean, is just selling prints. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with selling prints. An artist's got to live, birds got to fly, artists got to sell prints. I mean, got to make a living from your efforts, right? I mean, why not? When it's taught in school, I think when it's taught in school, it helps standardize some of the tools necessary to further your abilities. So, like when I went to school and I was drawing, and I used to love drawing with chalk and charcoal, and when I got to college and I was doing large format drawing like that, doing figure studies, that really opened my eyes to a lot of things in my own drawing and what could be done, and how I looked at subject matter and how I interpreted it, and because some people feel like art is like, a really good artist is when they can duplicate something that you see in reality. And a lot of people hold that very highly. And that's not always the case, For example, Picasso. Picasso could paint realistic work. But what is Picasso known for? The lady with 3 eyeballs and 2 noses and 5 arms, and you know what I mean? And Picasso's known for that. Why? Because he came up with something different. He came up with something new. He came up with a new way of interpreting things. And, that's why. And that's why we remember him. And that's what made him a genius, right? He came up with a new way of doing something, a new way of looking at things, a new interpretation of what we see in this world, right? By that metric, do we apply that to, can we apply that to miniature painting? Raziel, Kris and others, anyone else playing Red Dead Redemption 2? I've been watching my kids play it. They already beat the game twice. And so now they're doing the whole live thing. My daughter plays it a lot. And my son was going through the story. He actually took his time going through the story, doing all the little side quests and everything like that. I thought it was really fun. I didn't watch every aspect, but when I sit down watching him do some of the missions, or both of them do the missions and stuff like that, that it was very interesting and very good storyline. And Rockstar, they really take the time to really do a really good job with a game, you know, to make sure that when they release something, it is something, you know what I mean? And it'll have legs for a long time, you know? And so, yeah, so Red Dead Redemption, yeah, I think it's a really good game. You know, so I know there's a lot of controversy over, some of the, you know, the aspects of the game, as far as like treating, how historical context was concerned and things like that. And, you know, I mean, they could have went further with the historical context. They could have took things further, and they actually downplay some aspects of it. You know, things like, you know, obviously like racism and how you know, how the relations between the Americans and Native Americans, and, you know, black people, and, you know, immigrants, and, you know, women, and, you know, I mean, like a lot of that, you know, like you could go off on a huge tangent creating that game and make some real statements with it, but I feel that it's probably better that they didn't, you know. And in fact, you know, like I said, they dialed some of that stuff back, and, you know what I mean, and keep it more entertaining rather than being some sort of socio-political, you know, commentary. And, you know, I mean, it's there. When you read between the lines, it is there, but it's not right in your face. And I would applaud them for that, for taking, you know, essentially the high road on something like that, and making something that is commercially successful as well, you know. I think it's a lot better. I think it's a smarter decision, as far as a business is concerned, you know, to do something like that. But also create awareness, because I know that there are a lot of people out there who are completely clueless about history, even a lot of Americans who are completely clueless about American history, and, you know, how you get from there to here, you know. So it's interesting. Excuse me. Steve McDemon, doesn't matter if it's art if someone is enjoying it, even if it's only you. Does it matter if it's art if someone is enjoying it, even if it's only you? Does it matter? Of course it matters. It always matters. If you're enjoying it, other people enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it always matters. It always matters. Again, the big key with this hobby, you know, this wargaming hobby that we all know and love, the key thing is that you enjoy it, right? I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, wargaming has been part of my life since I was a young, a preteen. Well, yeah, 13. I usually equate about 88 is when I got into this. So that's when I started buying this stuff. So I was really more into it probably when I was 12, 13. Yeah, so it was about 13. And it's important that you enjoy it, because, I mean, like, this hobby has been a big factor in my life since I was 13, and I'm now 43. So you can guess how long I've been in the hobby. And, you know, in my house right now, you know, I'm the only one who really is into it. My son used to play War Machine, but he really wasn't into the aspect of painting or anything like that. My daughter has tried painting once or twice in the past, when she was smaller, but, you know, these days not so much. My wife, even because, you know, we've been together for 20 some years, you know, she knew that this was a big aspect of my life even when we were teenagers, and it, you know, she never got into it. She knows the difference between a space marine and a Tyranid, but that's about as far as her knowledge is concerned, and, you know, as far as she wants to go with it, and that's fine. And I've never asked her to be part of it, and she's never expressed any desire to be a part of it, and that's fine, because we share other interests, you know. But yeah, you know, and so when it comes to hobby time, if you're the only one in your, you know, your family, your household, your friend group, you know, if you're the only person into this, that's fine, as long as you enjoy it, you know, and as long as your friends know that you enjoy it, you know, it's good, it's important, right? Raziel, Kris, have you read Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics and or Making Comics? Amazing. He makes the argument that art can be extremely loosely defined. I tend to agree. Yes, that's what I was saying earlier. Art is, you know, it's a very broad definition. You know, mathematicians, artists, engineers, you know, cooks, almost any profession, really. You know, again, like I said, it's really what separates us from the beasts, in the sense that we can have civilization. That's pretty much it, right? Because we can make anything art. We can make language art. You know, we can make sound art, music, language, you know, color, visual, you know. Butters of Doom. What about pop art? Taking everyday objects and forcing you to consider them differently. Is art simply a matter of forcing a change of perspective in an audience? Forcing a change? Possibly. It's quite aggressive, but it's not outside the realm. It's not outside the definition, especially if the definition is so broad that almost everything we do that is conscious and is innovative, then it's pretty much anything we do is art, right? Pop art, though? Pop art is just popular art. I mean, it's just art that's in the mainstream. Nothing wrong with it. Some artists go, oh, it's mainstream, you know? That snooty kind of attitude doesn't fly with me. Art comes in many, many forms. Enforcer, I know it's going to sound stupid, but to me, art is anything and everything in what makes us feel something. It's something that makes us think. It can be interpreted in many different ways, and Meiji Diffie, I don't know, you kind of trailed off there, buddy. Different forms. It is something universal that can be whatever we want it to be. Yeah. But that is really just humanity, really. We can become anything we want to be as humans, right? Again, is it art? Is human art? You know, art and movement as well, right? I mean, we have art for sound and what we say when we speak, right? We have art in music, right? In the sounds that can be produced. You know, even our singing, right, is an art. Visual, creating imagery, you know, sculpting, creating out of form. Movement, ballet, you know what I mean? Dance is art, you know, our own movement we can create expression with, you know what I mean? Like, so really art is about humanity. And again, what is unique amongst us, amongst the creatures of this planet, of the life on this planet. You know, that's true. You know, that's the only thing that separates us. Otherwise, everything else, you know, we're no different than the rest of life on this planet. Holy man, I'm way behind on some of these comments. Grunnet 118 or 115. Has anyone told you sound exactly like Neil deGrasse Tyson? I sound exactly. I don't think so. And you know what? I think Neil deGrasse is kind of in trouble these days. So I'm kind of leery about that whole comparison. Because poor old Neil, you know, I think he's in trouble these days. I don't know if he actually. Now, to go off onto a completely different topic about poor old Neil. Yeah, because he's got like sexual allegations against the guy, and I mean, like, when you see him in interviews, he is kind of touchy-feely when he's talking to people. So, you know, I don't know. Now, touchy-feeliness, I mean, doesn't mean, you know, he's some sort of pervert, but, you know, is it possible somebody who is kind of shut off and, you know what I mean, like, you know, and doesn't like people touching him, and then if you interact with somebody who's very touchy-feely, does that mean that could have been interpreted differently, and that person might have felt that was inappropriate? Entirely possible, you know, and when you get into this whole sexual allegations, you know, and people are like, you know, oh, well, here comes another thing, you know, oh, these women are making up these things, or these, you know, whoever's are making up, right? Because sometimes it's men or women, because I mean, with the whole thing with Kevin Spacey, that was a dude, right? And I mean, like, you know, oftentimes, you know, it's these women coming forward, and then people go, oh, well, you know, it's these women, they're looking for a handout or looking for money. And I mean, and that's not always the case, you know. Sometimes it's possible, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't investigate, It doesn't mean that claim shouldn't be investigated, because there is so many instances of women being assaulted that go unreported, even amongst married couples, that you have to investigate these kinds of claims. You have to. You have to. Otherwise, the behavior will persist. And, you know, if art is everything that's human expression, where does rape fall into that, right? Rape is usually about control, right? It's not about sex. It's about control. And, you know, that's bad. You know, controlling another human being is bad, because again, you're starting to fall into the category of slavery when you control other people, and that's bad. You know, it's wrong. You know, it's evil, if you will. So, but yeah, you do have to investigate those claims. You know, it's important, even if you disagree. Even if you think she's out for a handout, and maybe she is. Maybe she is. But it's possible. But it's also possible she's telling the truth. And you got to investigate it. It has to be investigated. Matt Hoser over on Twitch. Happy birthday, butthead. Those lights are tripping me out, bro. I know, it's fun, eh? I kind of figured a lot of you guys would already been, you know, like turn your screens off, and so I'm getting vertigo. I'm flipping out here. I'm getting the bends. Oh man. I'll target Lamborghini, but yes, Jim. What I do believe is we should do an email, because Kris has been jabbering for 95 minutes. Holy man, yeah, we got 20 minutes left of the show. I better do some emails. Thankfully, I don't have all that many emails. Is it Gurnt 115? Anyway, now I'm really curious as to your thoughts on the Kevin Hart tweet scandal that happened a couple days ago. I feel like judging people on things they said 10 years ago idiotic and counterproductive. Sometimes it is. I mean, when you're linking it to behavior and something that somebody does and a way the person thinks, looking at previous things of examples of, you know, behavior that can be very telling, right? So if somebody, you know what I mean? Like, say, for example, somebody made a racist comment 5 years ago, then 10 years ago, you know, and then, you know, all of a sudden they're up on, you know, charges of racism and, you know, discrimination, things like that. And and then the person's going, oh, I'm not a racist. But then you look at their history and they've made racist comments. Then that kind of says that person, most likely, I mean, the person would have to prove somehow that they're not a racist, because the evidence presented is they're a racist. I mean, you know, how would you prove that you're not a racist? I don't know. In that example, I have no idea, but that's not the point. I'm just saying, though, you know, as far as, you know, judging things, I mean, like, you know, if I, for example, myself, this is a terrible example, but you know what I mean? If I had a history of sexual assault in the past, you know, and it happened once, twice, 3 times, you know, but then I hadn't done it for 20 years, you know, does that still mean I'm not a rapist? Right? You know what I mean? Like, does that mean somehow that somebody isn't a rapist if they did it once or twice? And it doesn't matter how many times it happened. Once is enough. Once is too many, right? So, you know, does your past reflect on your present? Can a person change? Yes, of course a person can change. But does that mean that that person should not face the penalties for their crimes? I mean, there is a statute of limitations. We do recognize in, you know, a lot of places. So, you know, either way, right? It's tough. But that's why we have laws. And that's why sometimes laws have to change, right? That laws have to change with the people. As times change, as people change, as civilizations and cultures and societies change, right? Everything's not very, you know, nothing's fixed as far as humans are concerned. We're constantly evolving and changing, and our thoughts and perceptions are constantly changing, and our laws and culture should change with them, you know? Usually. Mad Hoser. I'll take therapist for, yeah. My favorite is, I'll take anal bum cover for 200. Zalnos. Hello, Kris and chat. Hello, Zalnos. We've been all over the board today as far as what we've been talking about, so. Dr. Zanto, speaking of the past mistakes thing, there is a real story that a race driver lost his sponsorship because of what his father said 30 years ago before the driver was even born. Yeah, but I mean, like, that's, I mean, you know, that's not a crime. To pull your sponsorship from somebody because they're associated with something. Prove you're not associated with it, right? I mean, that's entirely up to the sponsor. Is it dumb? Is it short-sighted? Possibly. Right? But that's their decision. You know, there's no law saying that, you know, a sponsor can't pull their sponsorship of you because of something your father did. In fact, most likely the sponsor wanted to get rid of that person anyway. They didn't want to sponsor that person anyway, and they were looking for any excuse to do it. And that was their one excuse. It could have been as simple as that. It had nothing to do with what the father was into or whatever 30 years ago. It could have just been an excuse to get out of that sponsorship. That also could have been very much what happened, right? So, yeah. Jim White. Kris is showing his depths of thoughts today in spades. Well, I mean, yeah. We get off on these tangents every once in a while. Because, I mean, like, you know, I mean, you guys asked the questions, and I'm just telling you my thoughts. You can agree or disagree with me. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, you know, you're going to live your life. I'll live my life. I mean, you know. It's not a huge issue, you know. It's not like I'm sitting here trying to push views on you guys. I mean, I'm just telling you guys what my thoughts, you know. You're always free to think what you want. Do what you want. As long as it doesn't affect and hurt anybody. You know? Dr. Zantos, he said the N-word on a radio, and after it was informed that it wasn't appropriate in America, the guy being from UK, and according to his own word, he wasn't said the word ever since. Oh, about the thing with the race car driver. Yeah, but like I said, though, I mean, the sponsorship could have been looking to get out anyway. It had nothing to do with, you know, that was just an excuse. It was just an excuse to get out of the sponsorship. Maybe they didn't want to sponsor him anymore. You know. Or maybe they felt very strongly about what the father said and said, you know what? Yeah, we're not going to tolerate that. You know. Who knows? Who knows? Grunt 115. It's a topic that is so rapidly changing that it's hard to stay on top of it if you're a celebrity and your whole persona is based around a certain style of performance. I mean, gay jokes were socially acceptable even 10 years ago, but look how far we've come. Sure, yeah. The wife had Friends on, and I used to watch Friends way back in the day, and yeah, it's really amazing watching it now, like how many gay jokes were in that show, Friends. You know what I mean? And like this whole era we're in now, where you know. Of things in the past being inappropriate today, even though at the day they were accepted and nobody at the time had any issue with them, you know. So where did this all come from, right? Where did this come from? Why is it here? And why do a lot of people feel like it's out of hand? You know, I think on a lot of things, even me personally, feel like it's out of hand. Sometimes, looking at it, but then sometimes when you read into it and stuff like that, you know, yeah, the people who are making the claim sometimes sound like a legit reason for, you know, for the claim in whatever it might be, you know. And then sometimes, yeah, it does feel like, you know, kind of crazy, but eventually an equilibrium, hopefully, will be reached where, you know, sometimes a joke is just a joke. Sometimes jokes are harmful. And sometimes jokes are funny. You know. Who knows, right? Eldari, fun fact, Ontario has an Apology Act. Okay, what's the short and curlies of the Apology Act? What is it? Eldari, because you can't get more Canadian than having a law on apologizing. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Apology Act. That's a new one for me. Mind you, I'm not up on the law, so, you know, because I usually, you know, just keep to myself. I don't do anything funny or weird or, you know, anything that would harm another, usually. And, you know, so I really don't have to concern myself with the law. If I was into shady stuff, then yeah, I'd be up on my law. Because, you know, you'd probably be skating that pretty thin ice, right? Jabba's left nut. I can't remember any Eldar jokes on Friends. Jim White. Kris, tomorrow, are you going to look at the Big Dipper when it nearly touches the horizon? The Big Dipper nearly touches the horizon? Really? Didn't know that. No. Usually I only end up ever watching for, because it's kind of fun, is when the 25th rolls around, you know, and the ring, Ryan's belt, you know, points to the horizon, you know, stuff like that. I'm usually watching for. Dr. Santos, by the way, I posted a couple pics in the work in progress gallery of what I've been working on. That's over on the Discord for anybody who's curious. Dr. Santos has been posting something in the work in progress. So if you haven't joined us on Discord and you want to check out stuff that the monkeys are working on, they post stuff all the time. So feel free to join us on Discord. Eldari, email time. Matt Hoser, sorry, but Canada has an Apology Act. Yeah, that's what Eldari said. I kind of wanted Eldari to kind of explain it, but I don't think he is, or he's not listening. Fire Drake, I meant to send Kris pics of my Blackstone Fortress models I painted. Well, you can still send pics. I just won't get them today. But yes, let's do an email. Headphone time. Turn them up or down, whichever it is, but here it comes. Email time. Email time. It's always a fun one. And of course, we always thank Guy Meir Alfer, aka Carl, aka Beer Blah Blah, for creating these these email jingles. Oops, I don't even have it on the right page. There we go. This is from our good buddy Congo. Current work in progress, the Joan Arc Infinity bust from Luxembourg. This is my first bust from Congo. This is your first bust from Congo? / Bufarius. So let's have a peek. Can we zoom in a bit? Or is it going to do the sideways thing? No, it's not going to do the sideways thing. Excellent. I like to work on the face, on the skin. I like the highlights. I like how it has kind of like that brushed metal kind of look. The hair and flesh look good. I mean, it's a little fuzzy in this pic, but let's have a closer look at the hair. Oh, yeah. The metal's very eye-catching. The hair's really good. The flesh. I think you posted some pictures, too, in the work in progress gallery, I believe, on this model. I really like the flesh tone. Nice and even. Highlights and shadows are subtle. I like it. I dig it. Is that it? Oh, it's 3 pics. Oops. Damn it. I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. And I meant to click this. There we go. So thank you for sending an email, Congo. I really like it. I know you've been posting pictures of like, you know, kind of your work in progress of it all. And so thank you. Looking really good. Do I have anything to say about it? Nothing. The hair, I think the hair could go just a little bit tighter highlights up on the top, just to kind of increase the, you know, just creating like tiny thin little lines, you know what I mean? Like where the very brightest highlights are going, I think might add a little bit more texture to the hair. I don't know if you're really looking to go that route. I don't know, but entirely possible if you want. I don't know. It's up to you. We're going to do another email real fast. You know, I only have, I think, a few emails to go through. So I think we'll get through these pretty quick. This is from our good buddy Jabba's Left. Jabba's Left? He's left. Hi, Kris and Monkey Brethren. Grandfather Nurgle has been busy in his garden this summer. These are his latest sprouts. Hope you enjoy. I have had to send in 2 emails because of size issues. Thanks for everything you do. Jabba's Left. Sent from his iPad. Jabba Left. Jabba Left. Oh, Jabba, please don't go. Anyway. I love it. I love it. I like the nice smooth highlights on them. Makes them all look very kind of plumpish and, you know, impish, as it were. I like the different colors on them. You know, they all have that different coloring going on. They all have that, you know, but they still feel like a pile of nurglings. I like the slime dripping between some of them and stuff like that. I like, you know, like the little ones that dripping from the tongues and mouths. And yeah. Let's zoom in a bit. Oh, it's good. It's going to do that frickin' sideways thing on me. Go darn it. Lots of Nurgle bum. If you needed your fix of Nurgle bum, here it is, people. Here it is. Nurgle bum galore. Yeah, I like the highlighting. It's effective. I like the horns. Subtle transition. The slime is very effective. You know, gives them that really gooey appearance. And of course, it's got that nice little snotty-like appearance too. Look at that. Snotty Nurgle bum. Boy. Yeah, it's really cool. For whatever reason, I like the brown with this colored, the almost teal looking colored Nurglings. I like that. I almost like, yeah. Even with the pale green guys in there thrown in, I like that everybody's got the same colored horns, same colored tongues. You know what I mean? The insides are similar, but you just got the couple of different colored dudes. I like that. I like that style. That's really cool. And so, of course, he said he's got another email in there. Yeah. And so we will have a look-see. Oh, yeah, this is really cool. You guys are going to plot. Look at this. This is the second part of his email. Look at that. Love the transition in the tentacles. The eyes almost look like they have a bit of a glow. Can I zoom in, or is this going to go sideways? Frets! It's going to go sideways on me. Damn it. I don't know why it does that. I don't know why. It's got to be something I can shut off. It's got to be something I can shut off in this. Oh, I wish I knew. I wish I hadn't killed that fish. Anyway, love the gore in the mouth, or the goo in the mouth, I should say, not the gore, but it emulates like inside the mouth as well. The eyes, the tentacles immediately, just because of that really light purple and the yellowy green of the outer flesh. It's just really fantastic. Really great choice of colors here. Look at this. Like, just... yeah, that's really great work on those tentacles. That's really great work. Look at the mouth, and then the belly mouth. The goo. That's awesome. Yeah. I really like it. It feels a bit like the box art, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The paint job is nice and clean. You know. Anything wrong with it? No, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, like, you know, there's points where you obviously could have spent more time, you know, edge highlighting and, you know, bringing color blends, stuff like that. But that wasn't the goal here, I think. I think you were going for a very high tabletop standard, and I would definitely say you achieved that. You know, you got really nice color transitions going on this guy. This guy is just... it's really, really good. Look at this slime all over the thing, at the base. The tentacles are just, you know, that's a big wow factor for me, is the tentacles. I like the color transitions on the flesh. It looks really good. The slime, there's quite a bit of it, but it doesn't feel excessive. But there is a lot of it, but, you know, I don't feel like, you know, it's too much on the base. With a big beast of Nurgle, I almost feel like it's not enough, almost, you know? Because, I mean, like, doing that slime effect, I mean, you could easily get out of hand with it, but, yeah. But, no, I mean, the big treat here is that those tentacles, man, and the, like, oh, look at the skulls. Is he, like, pooping the skulls out? Is he, like, eating stuff and he's pooping the skulls out? Oh, gross. Is that what he's doing? That's nasty. If that's what the idea here is, that's nasty, dude. That's nasty. But I think it's awesome, dude. I love the slime. That just looks really good. It just has that whole slimy goodness to it. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Oh, man. Yeah, I think he's pooping those skulls out. I think he's pooping the skulls out. Yeah, and it's really nice work. I can see how you did the tentacles, and it's really nice work. It's nice control on some of those on those. It looks like glazes, or was that wet blended? This one upper tentacle here feels like it almost looks like it was wet blended, but that could have just been glaze. Either way, it's really nice work, man. Choice of colors in there is really good. Whoops. Didn't mean to hit that one. Meant to hit that. So, awesome work. Thank you for sending that in. Really nice. Just fantastic-y goodness. And, yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at that link of the Chimera color set. That I can't remember who sent me the link, but yeah. Okay, cool. And this is the one you were saying that it was like, oh yeah, high pigment concentration ranging from 30 to 50%. Okay. 30-50% from what? Yeah. But either way. What are we talking about? Fire Drake 18. I want to eat it. You want to eat it? Jim White, it's so good I'm literally clapping. Yes, I would clap too. Bravo. Bravo, good sir. Bravo. Or is it more like a golf clap? That probably sounds very inappropriate if I'm doing it really close to the mic. Or I could just do a really loud one right into the mic. Everybody's ears would just, you friggin' knob. Dr. Xantos, that's so nasty and obscene. Yeah, it's really good. The beast, the Nurglings, awesome. I love the different colors. I love those more teal ones next to the fleshy ones. I just like that color combo. But it almost balances out with the lighter green ones. So it was an excellent choice with those, doing them different colors like that. And the Beast of Nurgle, it was fantastic looking color blends on the tentacles, on the flesh. All around. It was nicely clean paint. Like it's amazing how a clean paint job can convey, you know what I mean, that look of that creature, right? And so, of course, the gory bits, the gooey bits look, pretty damn good too. So, there is that as well. Job is left not. Yeah, it was hard to stop with the slime. Yes, poo skulls was the idea. That's gross, dude. The poo skulls. Poo skulls. Have we ever heard that word before? Poo skulls? I stopped at brown wash over them. Thank you. Thank you for stopping at the brown wash. Oh, man, that's nasty. Armor Freak. Hi, I finally caught away the brush. Hello, Kris and monkeys. Holy man, Armor Freak. Welcome, Armor. Welcome. Welcome to the party, pal. I'm gonna have to watch that later now. Anybody who gets that reference gets a gold star. Welcome to the party, pal. Christmas movie. Which movie? Anybody know? Come on, answer. Does anybody know the answer? And then anybody who knows, leave a comment. Just to show me how smart you are and how cultured you are. Also, probably an age thing too. And you know what? Here's the Zandrate, you win the prize, buddy. You win the prize, Mike. You know what the funny thing is too that I just realized about that? Die Hard. What year did it come out? What year did I get into the hobby? Interesting. Parallels. Everything's a circle, Simba. Ghost Star Deluxe sounds like those skulls became literal shitheads. Old Man Logan, 2 thumbs way up. Yeah, The Beast of Nurgle, man, that was awesome. That's awesome stuff. I'm looking forward to more Nurgle goodness from you. Old Man Logan, nope, don't think I have ever heard that word. Skull poop. No, I didn't say skull poop. I said poop skull. No, poo skull. Was it poo skull? Yeah, it was poo skulls. Poo skull. Would be perfectly happy to never hear it again. Fire Drake 18, Die Hard. Yeah, Armor Freak, Die Hard is indeed a Christmas movie. Yeah, it's a Christmas movie. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah. Butters of Doom, 1988. Yeah, 1988. Yeah, Die Hard came out in 1988, man. The first Die Hard movie was 88. 88 was a year, man. 87 was one of those years in my mind where just a lot of things, you know, just kind of started to culminate as I became an individual. 88 was a very, you know, interesting time. Very, you know, things were happening. Ishab, Die Hard, 88. Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's just one of those, you know, the moments in time in your life that you, certain things were connecting, and you know what I mean. Anywho, Jabba's Left Nut, slime is soft. I thought it would be harder. Well, there is a bit of give to it, right? If it was any more stiff, it might break easier. Although, even though it is soft, it can kind of break pretty easily as well. But thankfully, it has a bit of give. I really wouldn't like use it for a lot of playing models. I would use it more for display type stuff, you know, just because, you know, again, there is that, you know, breakability of it. Or if you were using it in a, like, you know, if you're being judged on your army, then definitely, you know, use it on those models, but don't be surprised when it does eventually break, and, you know, just from handling. Of course, you can be very strategic about it as well. You can also put those things elsewhere, or change the way you grab models. Try and grab them like the claw, and grab them by the rim of their base, right? If you got big enough mitts, I suppose. Or even like shuffleboard. Have one of those shuffleboard things. Move your models. Butters of Doom. Year my wee sister was born. 88. Yeah, your sister was born in 88. Yeah. Dr. Santos, 87 was a very good year for me. Yeah, 87 was a very good year. Yeah. Dr. Santos, still remember it fondly. I was 12 in 87, and 87 was like, you know, when I was seeing like a lot of movies, you know, that shaped a lot of things for me. You know, RoboCop, Predator, Aliens. Aliens came out 86. Yeah, Aliens. Yeah, Aliens was 86, but I don't think I saw it in 86. I think I saw it in 87. Might have been 86, but either way, Aliens, and, you know, a lot of those movies. Predator was a big one for me. Predator, which I just loved Predator. It was a great movie. I had the comics and everything. I wouldn't mind getting like one of them big vinyl Predator statues, big kits, you know. There was one I loved. I saw it in a comic book store way back in the day, and it was, you know, it was like yay big, and it was Predator, and he was holding a skull and the spine, and they had all this gory blood dripping from it, and it was like a big Predator statue. I don't know if it was a vinyl kit or if it was like a polystone or, you know, resin or whatever, but either way, it was kick-ass, and it was like, wow, I would, you know, and I was already, you know, emerging into this hobby and stuff and painting miniatures, and so I was like, yeah, that would be really cool to paint out like that. Would be just awesome. Don't know the first thing about assembling it or doing it, but yeah, it would be kick-ass. Dr. Sanchez, although I could be wrong, being born does that to you. Okay. Ishab, winter of 67. Well, it was summer, but it was still filled with love. Or wasn't? It wasn't filled with love. Armor Freak, I can feel like a young man. 87 is when I started kindergarten. Yeah, you are. Well, yeah, because I was 12 when you were going to kindergarten. Old Man Logan, Die Hard was the movie I took my future wife to for our first date. Ah, the memories. Wow. When I went and saw Die Hard, that was 88, and I was living in Quebec at the time. I was living in Montreal. And when I went to go see Die Hard, I saw Die Hard in the theaters. And I know it's rated R. And you're thinking, wow, how did Kris get into a rated R movie? Well, I was a fairly big guy at 13. And I went with my mom. My mom took me to the show, and a lot of people would mistake us for brother and sister, just because I was, she looked young, I looked older, and so yeah. And I got into theater. My mom took me to Die Hard, and yeah, and that one just blew me away. I thought Die Hard was the greatest movie of all time. It was just awesome. Matt Hoser, I was in '87. I was teaching kindergarten. Get off my lawn. Yeah, damn all these youngin' in the room. Crap, I'm old poop. You're old balls, man. You're old balls, as we used to say. You're old balls. All right, we are going to do, holy crap, 6 minutes past the hour. We are going to jump into one more email, I think. We're going to do one more email. Are we doing one more email? Are we doing one more? I think we're doing one more email. Yeah, we're doing one more email. Or two. I don't know. Either one. Let's do it. Let's do a jingle. Let's do a jingle. Holy man, how come my chat looks so dark? I didn't realize my chat was so dark. I wonder why it looks that way. Why does it look that way? Did I do something? No? Interesting. No? I'm not sure why it looks that way. Anyway, another jingle. Here it comes. Headphones. Turn them up or down, whichever it is, but here it comes into your ear holes. email time. Email time. All right. This email is from our good buddy Ben. Hello, Monkey Lord and Monkeys. Here are the week's offerings. Some work in progress. One was a strip and paint project from eBay for £2. Wolf Priest. Although I have struggles to paint metal. I'm not sure why you would struggle to paint metal, but okay. So we have two of the same dude. He's painted them pretty similar, but one looks a little bit different than the other. One on the right, like, I don't know, like, if I was guessing, I would say you painted these at similar times, yet the one on the right looks like more control. The highlights on the fur look more subtle and more controlled versus on the left-hand side. The wolf armor looks the highlight looks a little cleaner. The inside of the fur on the guy on the right, the highlights look a little bit more controlled, more subtle. The flesh is similar. The eyes look very similar. I would, if I had to guess, yeah, these were done at the same time, but yet the one on the right looks more controlled. You know? The painting style looks slightly different. Like even the yellow on the end of the plasma gun, you could see more of a gradient on the yellow than on the left guy. It's just very interesting. I'm sure these were painted at the same time, but yeah. Oh, he's got Christmas ornament. Like that little Vindicare assassin inside a snow globe. That's cool. That's actually a really good idea. Put a figure inside. That's a fun idea. Should have did like a winter base. That way it really has a Christmas feel. Wolf Priest. Metal Duder. All stripped up and ready to go. Very cool. There is no difference to painting, metal and resin and plastic. Once you prime it, you lay the paint on the same way. So nothing to be fearful of or anything like that, you know. Was that the last email of the day? Was it the last email of the day? Oh, no, it wasn't. I've got one more I got to get to. One more. I know, Tyler, you sent me an email, but we will get to that one next time. Ben Ellis, sorry, late to the show. Hope all is well. Everything is well. Yeah. Geo Fitz, my Vindicare looks like he should be a member of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know what that means, Gio. You're gonna have to show me an example of that one because I'm not sure what that means. All right, let's do one last email because yeah, it's 10 after the hour. Holy moly, I should be done by now. I've got stuff to do, and you know I'm losing daylight here. So yeah, this one is from our good buddy. This is, you know what, this is a good way to end the show here. This is our good buddy John, aka Dark Commission. Hi, mightiest of mighty ones. Here is my latest completed project. Once again, the terrible photos do not do the piece any justice whatsoever. I'm really loving this one, but as always, your valuable CNC are required and appreciated. Cheers, John, aka Dark Commission. And so here we are. And this piece is really cool. I already took a quick little look of it earlier. And this is impressive, as always, with these busts from Dark Commission. Is that a real string tied in her bow? So that's really cool. It's a good idea. I imagine it's probably just a nice little thin little piece of thread to give that string. Once again, the leather. The leather you do is just really fantastic. I love the texture you create with that leather. The skin tone on her thigh and arms is very consistent. I like it. It has a glare to it, which I imagine in person is probably a very sheer looking surface, or maybe it was this the sealant on the model that maybe before when you moved on to other steps. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, it adds a very nice effect. Because I imagine that highlight isn't actually there. I imagine that's the camera light's doing that. It gives her legs and forearm a very smooth appearance, like she, just came from the was it getting waxed kind of thing? You know what I mean? Like it has that kind of sheer surface, which is very cool. I like it. The cloth is really, really cool. I think. Yeah. I was gonna say it almost looked like it was like almost like dry brushed for initially, just to get some of the initial highlights and such down. And it looks like he glazed layered some of the highlights as well. Very, very cool. I think for myself, I might have even went with a painting it like a sheer surface, but like a sheer cloth, so you can kind of see some of her flesh tone through the cloth. I think something like that would have been fun. Her cuff or her vambrace, whatever it is, what you want to call it. I love that texturing on it. The bow looks good. Yeah, little beads and the detail, stuff like that looks really, really good. Her face, she looks pretty angry, which I guess is probably pretty consistent for an elf. I think a little bit more shadow in the mouth, just to create a little bit more separation of her lips. Could be again because the lights are kind of like peering into that area. But I think like not going to a black, but like going to like almost like a deeper color of what her hair color is, just a deeper brown, just to create a bit of separation in there. Her eyes, almost like they're very, very piercing. But I think, and I think I might have mentioned this previously with other examples of eyes that you've painted, where basically doing them almost like, you know how you do like the gem effect, where basically we'd have deeper blues up in her iris and have brighter blues down below. You know what I mean? Because it looks like you do have a white spot highlight in there, and you know what I mean. Like I don't see much color gradient in her eyes, and I think if you'd done that, that change in color, but I mean, like her eyes are very, very piercing. Some people do have very piercing blue eyes like this, so I mean, I'm not 100% sure what kind of look you were going for. Her hair looks really good. Her eyebrows look really good. The tone in her cheeks, she's got a nice flushed looking tone, but the way her eyes and her eyebrows look, she looks like she's got like a really kind of aggressive kind of look to her, which I'm not sure if that was the look you're going for, or if it was the look of what the sculptor was going for that matter. Yeah, like even here, she kind of has that kind of pissed off kind of look. But really, really great job. The flesh tone, I really, really enjoy. The flesh tone as well. I mean, it's a very interesting choice that you went with kind of this normal kind of brownish tone kind of like average skin tone, right? Versus oftentimes with elves. I assume she's an elf. She's dressed like an elf. I assume she's an elf. She could be a ranger. I don't know. But either way. And because she's an archer with a cloak, I mean, you know, you assume elf. But I mean, like, oftentimes elves get very painted very light skinned. You know what I mean? They're often, you know, just depicted as very light, pale kind of skin. And I was kind of surprised that you didn't go for that. Again, I think, you know, painting a sheer fabric that she's wearing as far as her tunic is concerned, or her robes or whatever they are, I think that would have been a fun one. You really wouldn't have had to done too much. You've just been on like the shoulders and some of the arms, on her breast, and her hips, and maybe down the left, like the left side of her leg, where it was, you know, the cloth is touching her leg. I think that would have been a fun example of doing some kind of sheer fabric kind of things. Also on the buttocks as well. You know, you'd have seen a little bit of flesh tone appearing through. It looks like you were kind of going for that on her breasts, because like they are lighter, and yeah, versus like on her shoulder where it gathers along her collarbone, the tone's a lot darker, and so it is almost like you were going for that. I don't know if you were, but I can't see your comments right now, so I can't tell if you're answering me or not. But yeah, but the leather, like on her hood, that's awesome. Just, I love the texture. It has a very worn feeling to it. Oh yeah, look at her quiver. That's really cool. Yeah, because see, like even on the backside here, excuse me, you see like on her shoulder and on her buttocks, that had just been really cool if you'd have done a sheer fabric there. I don't know if you've ever tried a sheer fabric. That would have been fun. It'd have been a good exercise, I think, for you as well. Oh, we got some background here. That's cool. Yeah. That looks really cool. See here, she doesn't look quite as aggressive. She like her mouth almost has like her lips are curling upwards, like she's in a smirk or something. But then her eyebrows look so. She looks like she got a good man-hating look on her face, like she's about to pierce some arsehole with her arrow, or with her last arrow. She's gonna use it to shut some mofo up. Anyway, that's really great work, Dark Commission. Really fantastic. I hope you posted these on the Discord completed projects channel, because yeah, that looks really fantastic. Awesome stuff. Thank you for posting that, man. Thank you for sending that in. Yeah, that one I really didn't have, or I don't really have a whole lot of, you know. I hit something there. What did I hit? Oh, turn my light down. Turn it up. Turn it down. Oof, turn it bright, turn it down. It's getting bright. Anyway, yeah, I really don't have a whole lot to offer other than, you know, that was really great work. Yeah, I like, you know, the ruddiness in her cheeks. It almost looks like, you know, like she's flushed, and she, like, just the way her eyes kind of look, the intensity in her eyes, it just looks like she's kind of like, she's really aggressive. She's going to draw her bow, and she's, you know, it's going to plug somebody with it. Yeah, again, I mean, like, you're not really going to go back and add the sheer cloth effect, but if you have another one of those models, it might be, you know, might be nice to try something like that. You know, you could do it in a similar green fabric. You do it in blue. Sky's the limit. You can do whatever, you know. Oh no, I got a dog here. Dog running around my house. Going wild. I got wild dogs in my house. I don't know if you guys can hear all the noise, but there's wild dogs in my house. Anywho, yeah, so again, thanks for sending that in, Dark Commission. Really awesome stuff. Did you post anything? Dark Commission said he'll post in Discord in a minute. Thanks for all the great comments, Kris and Monkeys. Yeah, no problem, Dark. Dark Commission, yeah, she's about to kill something or someone. Yeah. Let me see here. Aldari wants to know where you picked up the bus from. Dark Commission, she's meant to be see-through, but I thought it was sexy enough already. Oh no dry brushing. Okay, there was no dry brushing. It was all layers. Okay. Yeah, I would have went for the sheer fabric. Like, it was damn near see-through. I mean, you know, just to bring a bit more. I mean, it doesn't really need it, but you know, it'd have been a fun exercise, because that's something that I have been wanting to demonstrate, wanting to do myself. I've very little experience in the technique itself, but I mean, like, it's not difficult doing a sheer fabric, but I've never done a mini like that, and it's something I've been, you know, wanting to try. And so yeah. Old man Logan, I have always had a thing for angry women, so she's right up my alley. Nice work as always, Dark. It says a lot about you, old man Logan. It says a lot about you. Ben Ellis, we are not worthy. Well, no. Anyway. No, Dark Commission. Yeah, it's excellent work, man. And Dark Commission has been giving me sneak peeks into future projects that he's up to, and there's some really exciting stuff down the pipe here. So, yeah. Dr. Santos, roaming wild dogs? Is this a Canadian thing? Roaming wild dogs? Oh yeah, yeah. There's lots of those running through Ontario and Canada. Yeah, they're wild dogs that are reverting back to almost like wolf-like behavior. Yeah, where you get like different breeds of dogs, and you know they're just running wild, and yeah. Because there's so many damn pets, right? And then like dogs are so survivable. I mean, like cats, you get like barn cats where cats will survive like in obviously barns. You typically don't find them just, you know, running wild and in the wild. Usually it's like farm territory and stuff like that. And you'll find wild cats. Canada does have wild cats, like lynx. Lynx is a native North American cat, and lynxes are really cool. I wouldn't want to tangle with a lynx. But yeah, so yeah. Jabba's Left Nut, I might miss that show, Kris, in sheer fabric. Well, we're not doing anything in sheer fabric right now. That could be another project down the line when we're doing a paint along, because our current project doesn't have any sheer fabric. She's got a big old cloak. Anyway, sorry, I was looking at what did I do there? Anyway, I think we're done. I think we're done. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, following. If you are brand new to this hobby and you need some help with painting scheme or some particular techniques, or you know you've got a question that needs to be answered. If you're attending live, you can always ask questions live. And of course, if you're not attending live and you're watching this after the fact, you can always send your questions to Kris@miniwargaming.com. It's in the description below. Of course, you can always join me at waythebrush.com, which is the central hub of all this silliness. It has the links to all the social media and also has links to the Discord. It has links for t-shirts. If you want to help support the cause, you can pick up yourself a t-shirt. You know, if you want to look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this universe, they're all wearing a Way the Brush t-shirt. So there is that to consider. I mean, also too, it makes you look more attractive to the opposite sex or the same sex if you swing either way. It doesn't matter. Either way, people know you're a classy individual. Really, that's the point. What a way to sell the shirt, right? Of course, waythebrush.com also has links for the Monkey Shrine, which everybody who's purchased a shirt, I want you guys to send me pictures of yourself. I know there's a whole bunch of you guys out there who have not sent me pictures, so I know there's a whole bunch of you out there. So send me pics of yourself in your Way the Brush shirt, and you know I will put you in the Monkey Shrine. Waythebrush.com also has links for the Patreon. If you're considering supporting Patreon, thank you. And of course, big thanks for all the people who are supporting me on Patreon. They help with upgrades and, you know, keeping certain things running. You know, waythebrush.com. I would not have done this if it wasn't for the Patreon support. And so, you know, big thank you for them. And of course, if you are considering support, thank you. And, you know, I'm kind of losing my words here. Mouth's getting dry. If you are considering Patreon support, I only ever charge for each episode of Way the Brush. So, and Way the Brush is only like maybe 4 times a month. So it's usually only 4 times that, you know, that people are getting billed. So if whatever amount you're thinking of contributing, I think you can work out how much you would contribute a month. And yeah, so, and I do produce more videos, and I also do the patron paint along, which is, you know, basically just the patrons. And it's basically we work through a project all together, and we work through things, and you know we basically anybody who wants ideas for, you know, how to do particular techniques or whatever we're working on. Hopefully it helps, and otherwise we're just having fun painting together. That's the patron paint along. And of course, big thank you to Guy Meir Alfer, aka Carl, aka Beer and Blood Bowl, for creating the email jingles that we all know and love, taking the time out of his busy schedule just to create those things that put a smile on our faces. Our faces? Well, your faces, my face. What else? What else do I usually finish the show off with? I think that's about it. Right? Website? Patron? Oh, of course. And of course, for patron support, if you don't have the resources, that's fine as well. Liking, commenting, and sharing this video all help as well. You know, so be sure to click that like button. Subscribing as well. Subscribing helps. Also, you know, joining me on Twitch. I do this on Twitch as well when I do this simulcast. Just because people wanted it. Some people prefer Twitch. Some people prefer YouTube. Whichever flavor. I offer it in both flavors. It comes in vanilla or chocolate. Some people like the colors mixed on the cone. Some people like 2 different flavors. So I don't know anybody out there who's actually watching this on both at the same time. So I don't know. That seems a little crazy to me, but so yeah, that's it. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my day. I still have some things on my list and the daylight is dying. So yeah, I got things to do. Jabba's left nut. I might miss that show, Kris. Oh, no, I already said it around. Dr. Santos, but hey, thank you for the show today and hope you have a good time with the rest of your birthday. Thank you. Eldar Lamborghini, have a good birthday, Kris. Thank you. Dark Commission, great show as always. Enjoy the rest of your birthday. Thank you. Ishiab, again, happiest birthday, Kris. Good day to the rest of the monkeys and hope to catch the show. And next time, it was a good day. It is always a good day, and hopefully, you know, you're getting through your hobbying, having some fun, relaxing, painting, converting, assembling, whatever it is. Hopefully, you know, you're enjoying it. And if you're listening to this after the live show, and you just have this in the background while you're working on stuff, well, hopefully you had a productive session, or maybe you sat there and daydreamed. I have no idea, but either way, you know, hobby time is supposed to be relaxing time, and hopefully, you know, you all had a relaxing time. And again, thanks for watching, guys. How do we usually end this show? Oh, right. That's right. Because hopefully the room will stop spinning now. Hopefully it'll stop spinning, right? So take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you guys next week. Next week? Yeah, next week. I'll see you guys next week. I think. Maybe. Yeah, I will. Probably. Yeah.